Hello and welcome to this video on how to write a web shell in PHP. My name is Blake Jacobs and I'm an educator at Mozo Cybersecurity Institutes. And first of all, before we start this lesson, start looking through this PowerPoint, I want to simply just go to the online platform and show you what is required for this exercise to be a successful complete. Okay, so what we will need to be able to do is write a PHP backdoor that can execute malicious commands. We want to write a PHP backdoor that allows us or hackers to upload remote files, to the remote server. We want to be able to write a PHP backdoor that allows us to download files from the remote server. Also, it requires some sort of encryption and password before you enter the shell. As you know, we don't want anyone else accessing our shell. Okay, let's go to our slideshow. So first of all, we need to talk about the agenda. So we're going to be talking about what is a web shell. We're going to be going through some of the reasons why cybercriminals would want to use a web shell. We're going to be going through where can we find it. And then we're going to go through a technical demonstration with Damn Vulnerable Web App. And then that will be the end of the lesson. Okay, so in a nutshell, what is a web shell? Well, a web shell is similar to a backdoor except in the context of a web application. It is used by cybercriminals to exploit a vulnerability in a web application, and that allows them to upload a shell or web shell to the desired server location, allowing them to execute commands on behalf of the system, which is pretty nasty. Also known as remote code execution. Very bad. Now, why would cybercriminals want to use these shells and these web shells to be malicious? Well, cybercriminals might just want to escalate their privileges to root. So they might want to access, say Apache, say Jenkins. They access the Jenkins user. They might want to find out what kernel it is, and they might want to find a local exploit that allows them to escalate their privileges to root. Or if they're Windows, they might find some sort of USC bypass that escalates their privileges to administrator. Or they might just want to steal sensitive information. A very common reason why hackers want to do these things is because they want to steal passwords. They want to gather intelligence about the victim. They want to find out what emails they got on their account. They might want to find out, what any passwords, any data. It might be like some credit card dumps. Things like that. They might want to find out information that they can attack them further, or information they can use to steal money or whatever things. Send them ransom. They might want to crack user accounts. So, they might find that Etsy Shadow password has no permissions. They might find out all the user hashes and then crack them and then get access to other people's accounts. A very interesting one that they might want to access other services like databases. If you can access a database, things you can do is bad. You can destroy the database so the database has got nothing on there. They could upload a shell to a database. Even persistent shell that just stays there and doesn't go anywhere. They might want to access the SSH, they might want to SSH into another box, which is secure shell, and they might want to see what other people have got. They might have passwords, they might have confidential information on it that they don't want anyone to access, or they might just access another type of database, which is PostgreSQL. Now, where can we find this vulnerability? Well, we can find them in many parts of web pages. We can find it through OS command injection. Not as common these days, but in a new website it might be common. But who knows? OS command injection is kind of thing that's easy to prevent, and we'll go through some of the ways to prevent OS command injection in future videos. But just all you can use is the scope shell args, and then boom, it's just it filters and sanitizes all the pipes and all the characters used for OS command injection. Insecure file uploads is very common, and remote file inclusion is a way to exploit it too. Alright, let's go through a technical demonstration, then I'm going to go through what is some resources you can use to help complete this lesson, like some functions you might want to use, some basic file uploads you can have a look at, and help you guide your way through this lesson. Okay, here's the very fun part. We're going to exploit a file upload vulnerability. It's going to be an insecure file upload, and we're going to upload a shell. It's going to be a very basic one. It's not going to have any password or encryption, but I'll be showing you how you can do that, or give you some guidance on how to do that to pass the lesson. Okay, so the username and password, the username is simply just admin, and the password is password. You wouldn't have that in a live production server for a website too. Default passwords, no. Okay. Let's go to the Dan Web App Security. And let's just set it impossible, so it's very, you probably won't be able to exploit impossible, but let's go to low. Let's have a quick look at a quick shell first. We haven't looked at what a shell looks like, so let's have a look at a shell. So I'm going to be showing you a very simple shell. I'm just going to go to the directory just quickly that it's got the shell. It's going to rename this shell to PHP because the medium difficulty will be showing you too. So this is the shell right here that we're going to upload. Now all this is simply doing, it's very simple. It's PHP script, starts a PHP tag, ends a PHP tag. It has a system function. We could also use exec if we wanted to, but we're just using system just for simplicity, and it has this get C parameter. So when we upload the file, we have to actually locate the C parameter and then input our command, and then this will get passed into the system function, and then it will execute the command on the system and then print out the output. It's very simple. So let's go to we set that. Let's go to file upload. Let's upload the file, the web shell, and upload and see what happens. Okay, as you can see here, it uploaded successfully, and it's actually got this traverse back to the home directory. So, or actually the root directory where the file's been uploaded. So we could just type in this and then go to the first path like that, or we could traverse back. It's got this traversal. Let's just use that. Let's get rid of this hash and let's traverse back. Boom. As you can see, the file uploaded, and it's on the drive, it's on the system, and it says that the system command cannot execute any blank commands. That's because if you look at our parameter, we see parameter, we need to put that somewhere. It's actually got nothing input in the system function. We go question mark C equals dir, and look, we have command execution, we have code injection. We just look inside the directory where our shell is, and it's right there. Let's go, who am I? Now obviously I'm crypt, so I'm crypt. Let's do another type of command where we can actually append a text to a file on the drive. Let's do that one. It output nothing, but the command successfully executed. So if we go to the drive where the damn vulnerable web app is, we'll find that there will be a file under the hackable uploads called hack.txt. Boom, right there. We've just written to the server our own bit of text there. Alrighty, so let's have a look at the medium difficulty. This is a little bit trickier because there's a bypass required for us to complete this one. Now, if we go back to the file upload on medium difficulty and we upload the same file, look what's going to happen. It's going to say only images are accepted. So what do you think we should do here? Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is we change the extension to .jpeg but leave the PHP in there. Let's give that a shot, eh? So if we go to the web shell and we change put a .png at the end, and we'll change that, and then we'll upload that and see what happens. And look, we successfully did it. Awesome. So now what we can do now is we can traverse back. And I'm pretty sure we have to change it to .php. Yeah, we can't just put in the PHP, put in the C and do dir. And that worked. I think because already no, that worked. Let's just remove the no, that should have worked. That should have worked. Awesome. Or we might have had to use curl or something, but at least it uploaded. That's the point. Now let's have a look at some pointers on what could help you guys. Let's have a look at some pointers on how you can actually complete this lesson. So PHP have a really good documentation. So PHP functions, and they have some good functions used for They show you some good functions used to actually, just APIs and stuff. Like, the documentation, sorry, not API. It tells you the documentation on, that's right. Now let's look at some PHP function we can use to actually complete this exercise. So as you can see, I use the system function to actually execute a command. And this is what the system function looks like. It has a function name, which is system, and it has a command that we can put in. The first argument is the command, and I don't really worry about the second argument, but it returns a string with the output of the command. And the same thing with exec is another function we can use. And exec is it there? Or let's do it again. We have to do that one. And exec is exactly the same thing, and it just works differently. It tells you about it there. And even it tells you, like, it's the same thing as system, but it's a little bit different. I think you might use a different syscall, I'm not sure. But don't worry about what they are for now. But this is how you prevent, so it even shows you some prevention. So they're saying that if you allow user supplied data to be passed into this function, it's very, very dangerous. They said you should be using escape shell arg or escape shell command to ensure that users cannot trick the system and execute arbitrary commands. So that's how you fix OS command injection. That's how you fix up the OS command injection attack. So the thing is, if people will use system commands in backend server code to actually execute a command on the server, they might want to execute a command themselves. So if they're not actually escaping the right, they're using the function to escape the filter the input, then they're going to be prone to an OS command injection attack. So they could actually be vulnerable to OS command injection attacks. That's why they're saying that if you use the system function or exec function for anything in your server-side code, make sure you sanitize user applied input with these functions here. Now, that's how you execute commands. You can use system for your shell. You don't really need to secure your shell that much. You might just want a really, really strong password. Because if you use escape shell logs on your shell, you won't be able to execute commands. So you want to make sure that your system function is not sanitizing the input and just executing commands. Okay, so how do we use encryption? How do we encrypt our shell? So if you go to the hash function in PHP, it actually has a list of algorithms you can use to encrypt our PHP shell. And you got SHA-256, which is a very, very strong encryption. MD5 is probably not that secure, only since it's like very easy to crack. If you have a weak password, you can kind of, you can generate an MD5 hash with all potential passwords. Like you can just go say password was, a MD5 hash, and then you got admin, which is a PHP, a hash. You can compare which ones are, you can sort of use comparison to check if the hash is correct, if you know what I mean. Won't worry about that. But I recommend SHA-256 since encryption is very strong and it's 256 bits. And you could even like in PHP code, you might want to generate a hash with the password that you've just hard coded the password and generate a hash. And then you want to do like a hash compare. I think there's a hash compare function here. Hash equals hash compare. And there should be a compare function here. Hash compare, You can look at like how to compare hashes in PHP. So this means that how do you compare a password with a hash? And there is ways to do it. Hash equals must be it. So if you have a password hard-coded and then you compare the hashes. So here we go. Here's a way to do it here. So you might have that's your password and that's the encryption. And then you compare them to the correct, expected, and incorrect. And that's the way to actually get compare a hash. Hash equals is really good. So you have use hash equals though. It can be really good to use hash equals. But you don't have to. It's something to look into. But you could use a hash compare function to compare the password and the hash to see if it's got like a successful login. Another thing is you can look up like how to upload files in PHP and HTML, because you'll be using HTML for the way the shell looks. You might have an input field, And this basically, Google just comes up with a form already for you. It has this bit of HTML code here. Will upload, have an upload form. So I'm not going to show you how this would work, but you just put this in a HTML document, index.html, and it will have like an upload form. You can obviously need a upload.php that does all the server-side handling, and that's what this would look like here. That's all this upload there. That's the upload PHP code that would upload to the uploads dir directory. So what's happening is it's creating a target variable dir. And the target variable dir is set to upload. So that's where it's going to upload. And then it's making sure that it's getting the target file from the upload from the HTML code. It's getting the file name. And this is a Boolean checking to see if upload was successful. And then it's getting the image file type, so using string lar to see if the extension is correct. And then it's doing a post to the server, it's posting to when the submit form is clicked in the index HTML page, it will post. It will check the image size because if it's too big, we don't want to be able to upload a too big a file. Then it's checking to see if the image file is too big. If it is, it says file is an image, check blah blah blah. Oh, sorry, if it's not equal to false, meaning it was the correct image size, then it will print out it's successful, and there's the MIME data. Then if it was too big, it will say file is not an image, or an upload was 0, so it couldn't upload. And it even tells you the PHP script explained there, which is pretty cool. You could use, let's have a look at SHA-256 encryption just quickly. Encryption in PHP. So here you go. This is how we use a hash function for SHA-256. So it tells you there. We'll open up a new tab and we'll go PHP compare password with hash. And it should tell us how we can compare a hash. There it is. Password verify. That's what we want. So it wasn't hash compare. It was password verify. So it contains the password and the hash. That's just how you actually create a successful login. So it would have some sort of you might have like you might have something like, I'm not going to show you, but you might have password equals ABC. You obviously need it to be secure. Hard code on the server side, and then you just hash it up. So you go hash equals hash SHA-256, and then the password, and then you would do the hash, the password verify, basically. Anyway, I'm not going to be showing you. That's something you have to work out, but that's what you do. Use the password verify function for a successful login. And to upload files is use the upload index HTML page. Make sure that's the correct extension, all that sort of stuff. Download files. You can also look up that download files from remote server from using PHP. Sorry. And tells you how to do it as well. Right there, it tells you how to download a file. Stack Overflow has a good explanation, and there's also Tutorial Republic will have a good explanation too. Tells you all there. And that's about SHA-256 hashes there. They're very, very secure. Tells you how to actually even create insert it into a database. If you want to get really fancy, you can even create a database that stores your or the passwords for your login. But that's probably, if you're doing that, they're gonna give you a good mark. If you can set up a database and get it working, that would be really cool. Anyway, that would be really good. You could give that a shot. You could play around with that. It's pretty cool. PHP and databases and MySQL and index HTML go really well together. Let's go to our PowerPoint presentation. So we've talked about what is a web shell, why do cybercriminals use them, where can you find the vulnerability, a technical demonstration. We did some bypasses using extension. We changed the extension and bypassed it. Now, I think that's covered pretty much everything for this lesson. I would just like to say a big thank you for watching this video and being a part of the community. And there's such a big community out there in hacking that it's growing so fast, and so many people want to get involved in the industry and want to be able to be a part of it. And yeah, it's a growing field. And thank you so much for watching this video, and hope you guys have learned lots. And until next time, cheers.